From the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, it's time for Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl.
Hello and welcome to the Collins Aerospace Studio here at the Nordloff Center. I'm Greg Peterson, and this is Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. It's the Elite Eight, folks. Let's meet our teams, and let's start with the Dixon Dukes. Last season was the first time in 10 seasons that Dixon made it to the Elite Eight, and they went all the way to that consolation third place game. Last round, Dixon got 12 correct buzz-ins from Nathan, so we're hoping to see a similar performance from you and your opponents today. Brady, you're the captain. Let's meet your team.
Okay, I'm Brady, captain of the Dixon Dukes, and to my left is Jaden, and then to my right is Nathan, and then to my far right is Ronan.
Welcome. And up against you, the Morrison Mustangs. Last year, Morrison ran into the eventual champions, Belvedere, in round 2, but this year, after a nail-biter against Christian Life, they're here in the Elite Eight. Violet, let's meet your team.
I'm Violet. I'm captaining the Morrison team today, coached by Brian Bartos, who's in the audience right now. My team, I have, to my far right, I have Logan Peavy. To my near right, I have Quentin Blevins. And to my left, I have Blaine Williams.
Welcome. Let's play some Quiz Bowl. We start out with the buzz-in round, which is brought to you by Rockford University. Individual questions on the buzzer, 10 points apiece. Let's get going. Which Dutch driver won 3 straight Formula One World Champ? That is Nathan.
Verstappen.
Max Verstappen, excellent buzz. In 1901, what anarchist, influenced by the ideas of that's Ronan?
Leon Czolgosz.
Leon Czolgosz, and that's an acceptable pronunciation there. He shot President McKinley. What French composer channeled his infatuation for Harriet Smithson into a work about an artist's self-consuming passion, his Symphonie Fantastique? Ronan?
Berlioz.
Berlioz is right. What band's first big hit, which was co-written by lead singer Glenn Frey and titled Take It Easy, was followed by such, that's Brady?
The Eagles.
The Eagles. Outrage over what playwright's drama, The Playboy of the Western World, sparked riots at Dublin's Abbey Theatre in 1907? Violet?
The Rite of Spring?
Nope, sorry. Ronan?
Oscar Wilde.
No, I see what you both did there. This is John Millington Synge. Entrance exams for what profession required writing an 8-legged essay about content from the 4 books and 5 classics of Confucianism? Nathan?
Monk.
No. Blaine?
Philosophy.
No, it's in China a civil servant, or I guess what we would call a bureaucrat these days. What musical, whose songs include Till There Was You, is about a con man named Harold Hill who tricks a town into thinking Violet?
The Music Man?
Is right. What German philosopher praised the Upanishads in a book that defined the phrase will to live? Ronan?
Schopenhauer.
Arthur Schopenhauer, nice job getting it before the title. What structures, one of which Imhotep designed for Djoser, often consisted of stacked mastabas in their step form? And that's Ronan.
Pyramids.
Pyramids.
I don't know it.
What term refers to a region of subterranean sand, gravel, or rock that stores groundwater, which can be, that's Nathan.
Aquifer.
Is right. What 8-letter word refers to the number inside a long division bracket, which is being divided by the, that's Nathan.
Dividend.
You picked the right one, that's right. What author of novels titled Esther and Democracy described his childhood in a Pulitzer Prize-winning, Nathan?
Obama.
No, I saw the panic hit there. I'll finish it for Morrison. In a Pulitzer Prize-winning book about his education, published in 1919. That's time. That's a hard one there. That's Henry Adams. What author who wrote about 2 members of the Glass family in his book? That is Ronan.
Salinger.
J.D. Salinger. Franny and Zoe there. Nice buzz. Jodie Foster played a police chief investigating the death of a native Alaskan woman in what anthology show's 4th season, subtitled Night Country? Ronan?
Fargo.
No. And I was done with the question. Logan?
NCIS.
No, that's what True Detective was up to by season 4. What practice, protested by the 1917 Silent Parade and the Red Record by Ida B. Wells, was a form of murder perpetrated against? That is Nathan.
Lynching.
Lynching's right. I was about to say Emmett Till. That is the end of the round, and Dixon out to a hot start here with 100 points. Morrison on the board with 10, and there is plenty of game left to play. But first, there's a break. See you in a moment. Welcome back to State Line Quiz Bowl. It's going to be time for the volleyball round, but before we get there, I'd like to thank today's judge. That is Coach Linda Green, a Hall of Fame Scholastic coach here in Illinois, who I think it is factually correct for me to say that Linda's team has won their sectional and made it to state every single year that any of these players was alive. That's how long it's been. That's how you make it to the Hall of Fame. So Linda, thank you for everything you do. And now we have 100-10 as the score, but we have some collaborative questions. We have some teamwork questions. We're going to start with Dixon here in the volleyball round. A reminder that the answers need to be coming from the captains. Dixon, here we go. What president whose firing of Forest Service leader Gifford Pinchot caused a split with the Progressive Party in 1912 succeeded Theodore Roosevelt?
Taft.
Yes. Morrison, in Greek myth, what boastful girl was turned into a spider after defeating Athena in a weaving contest?
Arachne.
Yes. Dixon, what substance secreted by goblet cells is abnormally viscous in cystic fibrosis patients and builds up in the nose during sinus congestion?
Mucus.
Yeah. Morrison, in May 2023, Koichi Itagawa discovered in the Pinwheel Galaxy what type of massive star explosion whose brightness increased 40-fold in a single week?
Supernova.
Yes. Dixon, what author of the novel Sometimes a Great Notion described Randall McMurphy's experiences at a psychiatric hospital in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Ken Kesey.
Is right. Over to Morrison. In what city did a helium sphere rise above a cauldron following a boat parade during the August 2024 opening ceremony for the Summer Olympics?
Paris.
Is right. Dixon, what city-state where the People's Action Party was founded by Lee Kuan Yew was a British colony that became independent from Malaysia in 1965?
Singapore.
Is right. Morrison, what musician, whose first wife Naima inspired his interest in Islamic spirituality, was a saxophonist who recorded A Love Supreme and Giant Steps?
Coltrane.
You're not sure, but you're right. Dixon, what decade featured the launch of Explorer 1, the beginning of NASA's Project Mercury, and the successful placement of Sputnik 1, into orbit?
50s.
Is right. Morrison, what country whose planned smart city of Neom is on the Gulf of Aqaba is second only to Venezuela in proven oil reserves and is home to Mecca?
Saudi Arabia.
Is right. Dixon, money markets where short-term debt is traded are contrasted with what other kind of market where long-term debt and equities are traded?
Stock.
No, we finally stumped you guys. It's a capital market. Morrison, what basketball team, which in 1995 paired Clyde Drexler with Hakeem Olajuwon, drafted Chinese center Yao Ming and is based in Southeast Texas?
Rockets.
Yes. Dixon, what Minnesota native served as vice president under Jimmy Carter and lost the 1984 presidential election in a landslide to Ronald Reagan?
No. Jimmy Carter.
No, it's Walter Mondale there. Morrison, what concept, which a Cornell West title says matters, names a critical theory promoted by Kimberly Crenshaw, whose subjects include white supremacy?
Race?
Yes. The Cornell West title is Race Matters, and then that's what critical race theory is. So that's the end of the round. We now have a score of 150 for Dixon and 80 for Morrison. So got a lot of game left to play, but we are still pretty close here. It's time for the Bergstrom bonus question. We'll see you in a moment.
Founded by Ray Kroc in April 1955, which restaurant is known by its iconic golden arches?
Welcome back. It is time for the Bergstrom bonus question, which is sponsored by Salamone's Italian Restaurant. This is one question on the buzzer, but whichever player gets the question right will win a pizza and pasta party, courtesy of Salamone's. We ready? Founded by Ray Kroc in April 1955, which restaurant is known for, that is Brady?
McDonald's.
McDonald's is right. I have to shout out my hometown of Des Plaines, Illinois, just about 70 miles east of us, because that's where the first McDonald's was. So congratulations, you've won a pizza and pasta party courtesy of Salamone's. We'll be back for the lightning rounds right after this. Welcome back. It is time for today's lightning round, which is powered by IBEW Nika. We have 3 lightning rounds here. Morrison, you're going to have the first pick, and your categories are state parks, World War I, or Canada.
Which one do you want? Let's go with Canada.
Okay. Another moment where I have some wonderful flavor text to read you. Answer the following about Canada. Yeah. 60 seconds on the clock. Dixon, be paying attention, of course, because you're going to have 30 seconds to clean it up. Violet, I need all the answers coming from you. Here we go. Its prime minister.
Trudeau?
Yes. The tree whose leaf appears on the Canadian flag.
Maple?
Yes. Its capital.
Ottawa?
Yes. Its largest territory, created in 1999.
Pass.
Okay. The most populous city in Alberta that's home to the NHL's Flames.
Calgary.
Yes. The Canadian author of the novel Life of Pi.
Pass.
The rodent depicted on Canada's 5-cent coin.
Pass.
Canada's largest island north of the Hudson Strait.
Batten?
Yes. The Canadian singer-songwriter who wrote Sisters of Mercy and Hallelujah.
Leonard Cohen?
Yes. Its smallest province led from Charlottetown.
Prince Edward Island?
Yes. Its largest territory created in 1999.
Nunavut?
Yeah. And that's in time. It's barely in time, but it is in time. So that is 8 right there. Well done. And the remaining 2 come over to Dixon. Dixon, again, you're going to answer the following about Canada. The Canadian author of the novel Life of Pi.
Pass.
The rodent depicted on Canada's 5-cent coin.
Mole.
Louder?
Mole.
No. The Canadian author of the novel Life of Pi.
Zahn.
A little bit louder for me.
Zahn.
No, sorry. And you've taken shots at both of them, so I can give the answers. Life of Pi is by Jan Martel. And the rodent that Canada is known for, you might have just not been thinking of that as a rodent. That's a beaver. So that is 80 points here. No points there. But now, Dixon, you get your pick of the 2 remaining lightning rounds, which are World War I and state parks.
World War I.
Okay. You have an equally creative flavor text. Answer the following about World War I. 60 seconds, here we go. The Austrian Archduke whose assassination sparked the war.
Franz Ferdinand.
Yes. Country where the battles of Verdun and the Somme were fought.
France.
Yes. Central Powers member invaded at Gallipoli.
Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire.
Yes. The German Kaiser during the war.
Wilhelm II.
Yes. Type of military vehicle that included German U-boats.
Submarine.
Yes. The 1919 peace treaty that assigned war reparations to Germany.
Treaty of Versailles.
Yes. The largest naval battle of the war, named for a European peninsula.
Jutland.
Yes. The German telegram that promised U.S. territory to Mexico.
Zimmerman telegram.
Yes. The peace treaty by which Russia left the war in March of 1918.
Brest-Litovsk.
Yes. And the date on which the armistice was signed that's now celebrated as Veterans Day.
11-11-11.
No. And that is shots at all 10 questions. You got the first 9, though, so 90 points there. Nice job. And one more question turning over. Answer the following about World War I. Morrison, if you need it, you've got 30 seconds for date on which the armistice was signed, now celebrated as Veterans Day.
11/11/1918.
Yes. 11/11 would have worked on its own, but yeah, it's 1918 rather than 1911, so you've stolen those 10 points there, which means that headed into our final round, it is Dixon 240, Morrison 170. We got a good game here, folks. We'll see you back in a moment. Welcome back. It is time for today's final challenge, which is brought to you by Mercy Health. I believe we have a 70-point margin right now, but every single one of these questions is 20 points. So things are going to move, and they're going to move fast. Good luck, both teams. Here we go. What novel in which a racing accident fatally injures Frou Frou, the horse of Count Vronsky, is named for an adulterous woman and is by Leo Tolstoy? That's Ronan.
Anna Karenina.
Yes. Alkali metals have relatively low values for what quantity the energy needed to remove an electron from it? That is Jaden.
Ionization energy.
Yes. What body of water was historically called Lake Sodom, contains the mouth of the Jordan River, and is a Violet?
The Dead Sea.
And is a Middle Eastern sea, that's right. What businessman appointed Linda Yaccarino as CEO of a Blaine?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is right. What force is caused by features called asperities, has kinetic and static types, and Violet?
Motion.
Sorry, no. And I'll finish. And is decreased using lubricants since it opposes motion. Nathan?
Friction.
Yes. What national park, whose highest point of Klingman's Dome was renamed Kuwoki in, Nathan?
Yosemite.
That's incorrect. Was renamed Kuwohi in 2024, is in a mountain range shared by Tennessee and North Carolina. That's Blaine.
Great Smoky Mountains.
Is right. What country, where thousands of Jews were arrested in the Veldiv roundup, was governed by Philippe Pétain under its Nazi? That is Nathan.
Vichy France.
I can take that, yeah. There was non-Vichy France there as well, but that's right. What form of electromagnetic radiation, which can be produced by the decay of atomic nuclei, is of a shorter wavelength? That's Nathan?
Gamma radiation.
Well done, yes. What 5-letter word denotes a type of water mixed with quinine? That is Ronan.
Heavy.
No. Blaine?
Tonic.
Tonic is right. We were about to do some music there, but that's 20 points. What Mexican revolutionary led a 1916 raid on, that's Ronan?
Zapata.
Incorrect. On Columbus, New Mexico, after losing a power struggle with Venustiano Carranza. Blaine?
Pancho Villa.
Pancho Villa is correct. What particles, which are studied by the T2K and Super Kamiokande experiments, Nathan?
Neutrinos.
Neutrinos, nice buzz. The Shire, or possibly Shire, River flows out of what African Great Lake, that is Nathan.
Lake Victoria.
Incorrect. Whose most common name is shared with a nation whose capital is Lilongwe. Blaine?
Like Malawi.
Say again?
Malawi.
Yes. And that is time. That is Dixon 360, Morrison 290. That is an excellent game, both teams. Morrison almost getting to 300 is very impressive. And then Dixon, that was just slightly more impressive. So we'll see you guys next time. And we'll see all of you next time as well. Bye now.